Nagbabalik tayo dito sa Kababayan Today. For people that don't know, Bencab is one of the national artists of the Philippines. Caroline and Bencab used to be in a relationship and they have 3 beautiful children. Half Filipino children.
Yes, we were married for 16 years, so it was more than just a relationship.
Yes, absolutely. Married,
yes,
you know?
I know, married, exactly. I shouldn't have done it, but there you go.
So
we tried it.
Being married to a Philippine artist, how was that like?
Well, it was fun in a lot of ways. He was a bit of a naughty boy, so but then Filipinos are naughty boys, aren't they? So I put up with an awful lot for a while. Until I didn't, but I got to meet all the artists with him, and you know we had a great time together. And he was a very good cook, as most Filipinos are, so that was very helpful because I'm a lousy one. And he was a very good father at the time, but sadly at the moment he hardly sees his children at all. And hopefully this year they'll all be going back to Baguio, which he's now living, and he has this wonderful museum, which is his legacy, and I'm so proud of him for doing that, because that was his dream, and he accomplished it. And who amongst us accomplishes our dreams? And you're probably accomplishing your dreams, but very few people do, as you appreciate.
I have to say I'm accomplishing my dream right now just talking to you.
Oh, well, don't be so
No, flattery aside, you're a fascinating woman, and with such a perspective of the Philippines that I only wish I had the guts to talk about.
Well, I think that it takes a foreigner really to be able to write these things, and I realized that back in the 60s and 70s when I was writing, a lot of Filipinos didn't dare, as particularly during martial law, write a lot of stuff which I was able to get away with. And although I did say that I was threatened with deportation, and I was seriously threatened with deportation, I did manage to stay because I pulled a lot of strings, as you can there, and
until today.
Until today, I'm sure.
Yes.
So I could get away with writing a lot of stuff that Filipinos couldn't.
Okay, I'd like to just read a little excerpt. Under martial law, in an atmosphere of intimidation where a meeting of more than 5 people constituted a conspiracy punishable by law, where a 9 p.m. curfew was enforced every night, where men with long hair and beards were considered the enemy and forcibly shaved on the street, and where the typically Filipino pastimes of gossip, innuendo, and intrigue were rewarded with custodial sentences, the days of cafe society had become a thing of the past. I loved that excerpt because you really capture the turbulence that's happening
and the scaremongering, because walking down the street as you normally would do, and in that day and age everybody had long hair. It was the age of the Beatles, so everybody was copying them. So to be arrested on the or you have your locks cut on the side of the street as you're about to cross the road, what's going on here?
And a lot of kababayans that live here in America migrated during that time for fear of their life.
Yes, I'm sure there were. And it's funny because, well, you've probably seen my blog site, and it's sort of suddenly become very popular. And I think mainly because Bongbong Marcos is threatening to run as for president. And so my website with all the articles about the Marcoses has become a sort of forum for pro and anti-Marcos young people, most of whom didn't know what it was like under Marcos and think that life is going to be rosy under a new Marcos, and those that do know what it was like and are warning them, this is, we must not let another Marcos anywhere near Malacanang. So,
but speaking about Marcos, because it's Women's Month, the most notorious Filipina woman, Filipina woman known for her shoes, Imelda Marcos.
3,000 pairs. Yes.
And you were privy to her extravagance at the cost of the people's hard-earned tax money.
Absolutely. I mean, she was notorious for all her shopping sprees to New York and to Rome and to Paris, and she would come back with diamonds and rubies and emeralds, and I was on TV with Amy Marcos at one time, and she was wearing these huge uncut emeralds, around her wrist, enormous. And I was very rude to her because I said, you know, how many Colombian miners died getting those out of the ground, and
you
she
know,
wasn't very amused.
and she's in, you know, she's in politics
Yes,
in the Philippines.
I know she is, yes.
So it seems like history just keeps repeating itself.
Yes.
So how can we as Kababayans here in America, you know, rally for good governance and change?
Well, I think there are a lot of people rallying for that, and I think it will happen, but it comes very, very slowly. And I think if we can get rid of the greed and the need to accumulate wealth and possessions and things, it can happen. And I have faith in the young people today. Thank God, because I think they will, you know, they will really save the planet. They have to, because we've ruined the planet for it. It's my generation who is responsible for that. And I think the same in politics. We've ruined politics. We've made politics. We're able to buy votes. You know, it's not just in the Philippines you can buy votes. You can buy votes in this country.
Right.
You know?
Okay. So when we return here on Kababayan Today, we're going to talk to Caroline about really what does it take for our country to make a shift towards the positive. We'll be right back.